Good morning, everyone. I've shared this story many times before, but it bears worth repeating this morning. I was so fortunate to grow up in a multi-generational house with my grandparents who lived with us and in Bethesda. And I saw with my own two eyes the incredible support and love that my mom provided to her parents in their golden years. But I also saw with my own two eyes the vulnerability that my grandparents had. And my grandfather had Parkinson's at the time. My grandmother was suffering from Alzheimer's disease. And unfortunately, we know that there are unscrupulous people out in our world and even here in our community who are looking to take advantage for financial gain, most often, of our elder community. And so it is critically important that we remain united and strong, working with representatives from the Department of Health and Human Services, our state's attorney's office, and all of our community-based organizations and ancillary executive branch agencies to help ensure that we provide clear lines of communication for our aging community here in Montgomery County. We were designated several years ago a community for a lifetime, which means that we take steps to help make sure we protect and really help serve our aging population. I'd now like to invite the county executive, who's been a steadfast leader in helping to not just ensure the safety and security of our elder population, but in many other ways as well. County Executive Elrich.
So I'm really happy to join you here this morning for this proclamation. Elder abuse is real. My father was lucky enough to have not had major incidents of it, but I had lots of friends who were constantly protecting their parents from abuses. People calling up and offering them great travel trips and amazing discounts and services they would never need and never use, and very hard to get refunds once the parents have paid, because they were, after all, adults. And so it's endemic in this society, and it's gotten worse in some ways with COVID because of the isolation and the lack of contact people have. People even have less opportunities to tell people, this is what's happened to me, or this is what, somebody's asking me, what do you know about it? So people are, have been more isolated, more cut off from information, and I think it's increased the risks that many of our senior citizens have had to deal with. The senior population is growing. I'm part of that group. I'm 72, so well over 60. We're a growing portion of the population. Often people are retiring from the workforce, which is leaving both opportunities and holes in the workforce as, we look for people to replace them. And seniors, continue to be folks that we try to provide a meaningful place in society, to the extent they can volunteer and help us in many ways they can. They are greatly appreciated, but we owe it to them to make sure they're not subject to the kind of abuse that they are. And we have a very active program in our consumer protection, and John McCarthy in the state's attorney's office is aggressive in prosecuting. And I know I've been at many forums with John where they talk about senior abuse and what you can do and what are the signs of it. So I'm glad to be here and glad that we have so many folks up here who play a role in making sure that we keep our citizens as safe as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And joining us virtually this morning is our colleague and friend, Councilmember Katz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Mr. County Executive. I do wish I could be there in person to join my friends who have done such great work on this elder abuse. And this morning, yesterday I had milder symptoms. Today I'm taking it up a notch. And because I'm a family that shares, Sally has tested positive as well. So yeah, just a real pleasure, just an absolute pleasure. But I did want to give a few statistics. The Maryland Department of the Planning Project found that between 2010 and 2040, the Montgomery County senior population is projected to grow from about 120,000 people to about 255,000 people. That's an increase of 113%. Among all age groups in Montgomery County, only 65 to 80 and 80 plus are forecasted to increase as a percentage of the population. 1 in 10 Americans age 60 plus experienced abuse during a 1-year period, and many experienced it in multiple forms: physical, sexual, psychological, neglect, and or financial exploitation. Elder abuse is underreported nationwide. And in Montgomery County, according to the May 2011 study out of New York, for every 24 cases of physical abuse and neglect involving a senior, only one was documented or referred to adult protective services, law enforcement, or other authorities. And for financial exploitation, of every 44 cases, only one was documented or referred to APS. 96% of elder abuse is reported by someone other than the seniors themselves. Last week, the Montgomery County Elder Vulnerable Adult Abuse Task Force hosted a series of informative events last week focusing on staying connected safely. Sessions were live streamed and in person and included yoga, music, and meditation. To stay connected is important. Studies have shown that social support diminishes elder abuse. The county executive was mentioning that the various forums that the state's attorney, John McCarthy, have had. I've been there as well, and with Debbie Feinstein and others. And I have to tell you that the people in the room, it was, older adults in the room, that they had a person stand up and say, "This is what happened to me," an older person stand up and say, "This is what happened to me," and I was ashamed. It was, many cases, it's a family member. I was ashamed to let people know. We have to let people know, and we have to make certain that the John McCarthys of the world and the Debbie Feinsteins of the world make certain that those people that do this horrible, horrible, horrible thing, that they're have a form of justice for themselves as well. So thank you very much, Mr. County Executive, Mr. President and County Executive. And you all can read the proclamation. I don't know how that's going to work for the proclamation for me. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Katz. Our best to Sally as well, my goodness, on a speedy recovery. So it's been mentioned that the state's attorney's office, working in partnership with the sheriff's office, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services and the Office of Consumer Protection, has been really leading the way in helping to educate our population and the caretakers for our elder community on this critically important issue. I have personally witnessed State's Attorney John McCarthy's presentations on this across the county. They are always appointment viewing, and State's Attorney McCarthy always discusses the incredible work of Miss Debbie Feinstein, and I've had the opportunity to see her in action for many years now, and we are so fortunate to have her leading the way on this critically important issue. And with that, I'll turn it over to her to make some remarks now. Ms. Feinstein.
Thank you so much, Council President and County Executive, as well as all of the esteemed colleagues that I stand here with today. I have the privilege of chairing the Elder Vulnerable Adult Abuse Task Force for Montgomery County. I want to acknowledge Kelly Davis, who's over my shoulder, who really is one of the main leaders in the elder abuse prevention work, and Mario Warsussin from Adult Protective Services, who chaired our World Elder Abuse Awareness events last week and is really a leader in elder abuse prevention in our county. And of course, my boss, John McCarthy, who over the last several months has educated in person and virtually well over 1,000, probably closer to 2,000 seniors between all of the different events that he and our colleague Eric Friedman from Consumer Protection has led, really talking about the perils of elder abuse, the red flags, the signs and things to look for. Last week, our World Elder Abuse Awareness events focused on community connections. And that's why it's so important to be here today and to continue to speak out about elder abuse. Keeping connected to the community, making connections through all of the incredible things in our county, age-friendly Montgomery, our villages. Those are ways to diminish elder abuse in our community, ensuring that our seniors, that our family members, that our friends are connected to others. That is vitally important. Studies have shown that that is the single most effective way to diminish elder abuse, is to diminish isolation. And I would encourage everyone to take a part in that effort. And again, thank you to my boss for giving me the opportunity to have the Elder Vulnerable Adult Abuse Task Force and to be able to speak out on this issue on the regular. Thank you so much, and thank you again for the honor this morning and for the proclamation.
I do also want to acknowledge that fire and rescue plays a critically important role as a partner in this effort as well, directly reaching our community. And I want to thank Max here from the Sheriff's Office as well for his leadership, and I see Dr. Raymond Kroll here as well from the Department of Health and Human Services. We've set the bar high here for the amount of proclamations we're giving out today, but the county executive and I will now read this together. If I could have him come forward. You want to start?
Sure. Proclamation, Montgomery County, Maryland, whereas June 15th, 2022 marks the 16th year of World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which is recognized internationally at this time when the entire world voices its opposition to any form of abuse of senior adults. And
whereas statistics show that approximately 1 in 10 Americans ages 16 or older have experienced some form of abuse, including intentional physical, emotional, and financial abuse. And
whereas Montgomery County is dedicated to the diversity, equity, and inclusion of programs and services that aid and protect older adults as they age in place. And
whereas Montgomery County's 60 and older population currently makes up 21% of the county's growing population, and whose leaders understand that educating seniors, their families, and caregivers about abuse is critical to its prevention. And
whereas Montgomery County, as an official age-friendly community, strives to provide a place where all residents can age, thrive, and contribute to making our county a better community for everyone. And
whereas Montgomery County is dedicated Elder and Vulnerable Adult Abuse Task Force, which for the 12th year has hosted special public health and safety events in recognition of World Elder Abuse Awareness and Prevention.
Now, therefore, do we, Mark Elrich as County Executive, Gabe Albornoz as Council President, and Sidney Katz, Council Member of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby proclaim June 2022 as Elder Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in Montgomery County, with the 3-part series of live-stream public safety seminars with in-person viewing parties at Montgomery County Senior Centers and through an extended transit public safety awareness campaign. All our community members are urged to join us in the Montgomery County Departments of Health and Human Services, State's Attorney, Police, Fire and Rescue Services, Consumer Affairs, County Attorney, and Recreation in recognizing the contributions that the elders make to our community and to renew our focus on prevention and swift responses to acts of abuse against older adults. Signed this 21st day of June, 2022, by myself, Gabe Albornoz, and Sidney Katz.
All right, let's take a picture.